guys, my name is Christine and welcome back to my channel. Now in today's video we are going to be doing another extreme grocery budget challenge, and this one's going to be a little different because we're going to be using a lot of potatoes. If you want to see any of the other grocery budget challenges I have done, and I've done a few of them already, I will leave a full playlist down below for you so you can check them out at your convenience. Basic rules of the challenge are the only things I'm assuming you already have is salt, pepper, and a fat of some kind like an oil or something like that. In this one, I'm actually not even assuming you have butter because I purchased a butter-like ingredient in the grocery haul. I picked up most of my ingredients at Walmart except for my large bag of potatoes, which you can check out in my bulk foods grocery haul that I've already done. Most of the meals you'll see in this video are based around those potatoes, so it's gonna be a whole lot of carbs. Just as a point of clarification, yes, I am using each individual person as a meal. So each serving is a meal. So if there were only 2 people in your house, this meal plan would go significantly further than if you have 6 like mine. All being said, I hope you enjoyed the video. Here is my very meager grocery haul, along with my 50-pound bag of potatoes that I picked up in my bulk grocery shopping trip, which stemmed the idea for this entire video. There you go, there's the bag. This is where the fruits and, well, not fruits, vegetables are coming from in this week's extreme grocery budget. 50-pound bag of potatoes for $9.95, and this will be the base of most of our meals. And I filled in my haul with these items. I feel like I'm forgetting something here. I thought I had more, but maybe I didn't have more. Maybe this really is all there is. This was $4.95, so between this and my potatoes, I'm already at $15, and I didn't have a whole lot else to work with. I ended up my entire haul, including the potatoes, for only $34 and some cents. So what in the world am I gonna make with honestly not very much in front of you? I have a loose idea of what's gonna go down, but not a solid idea. So yeah, we're just gonna have to see how this extreme grocery budget challenge is gonna roll. It's summertime, all of the kids are here. I mean, they've been here, but now they're like, they've been home for months and months and months, and they just get louder and louder and bigger and bigger. I didn't put as much planning into this one as I normally do, but here, let me just give you some ideas. So I went with the eggs because it's a great source of protein. 5 dozen eggs for $4.95. There's healthy fats in here, keep you full for longer, and I can combine the eggs with potatoes for several dishes and the eggs with the beans for several dishes. I feel like I get the eggs every time I do one of these challenges. I think it's just such a wonderful product to use. They are very inexpensive for the protein and fat that you get with them. You'll notice, aside from this, I don't have any meat in this grocery haul. I couldn't afford it this time. And sometimes, you guys, there are people who cannot afford the meat. Meat is expensive. And I didn't want to buy the same chicken that I always buy and give you some different options. So we're just gonna go with that. This section was actually inspired by my hairdresser. Let me tell you about it. I went and I got my hair done a week ago or so. My hairdresser is married to a guy who is from Mexico, and they do a lot of Mexican dishes in their house. And so she's telling me about one of her favorite ways to eat beans. She was like gasping that I don't make homemade refried beans very often. So she's like, okay, Christine, look, this is how you do it. So she's telling me about the pinto beans. She puts about 2 pounds, so about half of that, in her Instant Pot after washing it and rinsing it and stuff, with water, the chicken bouillon from the Mexican aisle in the grocery store. That's what she said, so that's what I got. Lowry's or seasoned salt or something like that. Okay, cook it for like an hour. And then you can serve your beans over rice with the liquid, and you can serve them with this, with tacos, you can serve them with eggs, okay? And then she was like, you can pull it out and mush it in a pan, save your water, cooking water, because that's where all the flavor comes from. Pour the water in as you like mash it up, and then you have homemade refried beans. So Brandy, if you're watching this video, this is for you. I probably messed part of it up, but we're going with it. So I got a 4-pound bag of pinto beans. I wanted to do black beans for some of my dishes, but hey, pinto beans were cheaper. A small bag of rice, just 2 pounds. I'm not using rice very often this week. Chorizo, because it is such a strong flavor and goes a really long way. So I figured this mixed with the potatoes, and that, hello, can you say tacos? Pretty excited about that. I did get 2 packages of the Great Value taco seasoning to make some potato tacos, like potato bean tacos. These were only 34 cents at my Walmart. These and these are going to be something I will be using. I'll show you later in the video. When was the last time you guys bought American sliced cheese? This used to be the only cheese I ate as a kid. This was it. Probably because it was cheap. It was like $1.25 for this. I wish I could have afforded real butter. I normally always buy real butter, but we couldn't afford it today, you guys. So I picked up the Imperial. I looked at the ingredient list because I've never loved to cook with margarine, but check it out. 0 trans fats, but because we have so many potatoes, you gotta put some butter on some potatoes sometimes, you guys. We are gonna do chili topped baked potatoes for a couple of lunches. Time is the name of the game here. And so instead of making my own chili, I just bought chili. This can was $1. So I have 2 of these, and the hot dog chili sauce was only 50 cents. So I got the cheaper one to mix them all together to have it go further. Is that cheating? Maybe, but you gotta do what you gotta do when you're pinching those pennies, my friends. And a little bit of sour cream as well to go with our tacos and baked potatoes. This is all we have to work with this week. I know it looks absolutely crazy, but don't forget I have 50 pounds of potatoes here to work with. Is it gonna be delicious? Are the kids gonna be full? Are they gonna be begging for a steak when this week is over? I have no idea. Let's get cooking. I am getting ready with some meal prep for breakfast tomorrow. So the best way to make hash browns is to actually do it with baked potatoes that are cooled in the fridge overnight. So I have 4 extremely large potatoes. This one is like 2 pounds, it feels like. And I'm gonna set these to bake in my Instant Pot and then just stick them in the fridge overnight. So tomorrow morning when it's ready to grate them and cook them for hash browns, they are ready to go. So if you guys have struggled to make homemade hash browns, I'm telling you, this is the secret. And because I have very, very large potatoes, we're gonna go 25 minutes natural release for 10. I am also going to soak 2 pounds of my pinto beans. So I poured half of this 4-pound bag into a large bowl. I'm gonna cover it with cold water. You don't have to soak them overnight. I just prefer to soak them overnight because I feel like it cooks more evenly, even in the Instant Pot. It's just like, I'm already thinking about it. It's just an easy step. There we go. I will see you ladies tomorrow. Here is Andrew helping out in the kitchen with my mandolin and the safety glove using the shredder attachment. I'm not sure why we're not using the box grater to do this, but maybe he wanted to use it or the box grater was dirty. I'm not really sure. So this is one way to make the hash browns, or you can chop them into small squares and have like a country style hash brown. And a cast iron pan with your butter is one of the best ways to do this. So here are our scrambled eggs and hash browns that we had for the first half of the week. Breakfast for the next couple of days is going to be a leftover potato pancake, basically made out of mashed potatoes. First, I need to make my mashed potatoes. I have 8 cups or so of just chunked up potatoes in my Instant Pot. You can also do it traditionally on the stove. It's how I did it forever and ever until I had an Instant Pot. You don't have to cut them very small. I have about a cup of water at the bottom just so it doesn't burn. Make sure you seal it here. So I'm gonna do a manual for 20 minutes. Just let it do a natural release. And it is going. And then just make your traditional mashed potatoes however you like to do it. I'm only going to be putting butter and salt and pepper in mine because that's all I purchased for this week. But if you have extra milk or cream cheese or things like that, that's a great addition as well. And I will see you guys tomorrow morning for the potato pancakes. Hey, good morning. So I have 2 cups of my cooled mashed potatoes, a 1/4 cup of flour. I consider flour to be a pantry staple, and 2 of our eggs. Stir this all around. We're gonna cook it on a skillet pan or a griddle with a little bit of oil, and then you can serve it with whatever topping you want. I purchased sour cream, so sour cream is gonna be the obvious choice, but you could also top it with applesauce or just regular pancake syrup. I know that sounds weird, but it is like a salty sweet combination. Sour cream is gonna be our go-to for this dish. I have my 2 pounds of soaked and rinsed and washed pinto beans in my 8-quart Instant Pot. Okay, technically it's not an Instant Pot, it's a Symfonio, but I find they all work the same. I'm gonna be adding some of my chicken bouillon cubes and this seasoned salt because I actually don't have Lowry's. I have no measurements in mind. I'm just gonna throw stuff in and hope for the best.
It's gonna add some flavor.
There's 8 cubes in here. Let's do 4 because I will be adding at least 6 cups of water in here. Here we go. Here are my bouillon cubes. I'm just gonna do a little sprinkle. I don't really know, maybe a teaspoon and a half, I guess, ish. I don't know, 2 teaspoons, I guess. I have 8 cups of water in this, so we'll see what it looks like. Okay, that is not enough. All right, it looks like we're gonna go with probably 12 cups of water. Wow, okay, I am at that line, that max line right there. And I have a feeling these will soak up all this water. We'll see when it opens up. Lid on, set it to seal. And I am going to choose the bean chili option and push that. And off it goes. So it says it's 30 minutes. I'm actually gonna let it sit for an additional 30 minutes for a natural release. So we will check this in an hour. Here are the beans after the cooking in their cooking liquid, and I'm just adding this taco seasoning to turn it into taco beans, and I'm stirring it with a happy face spoon to make just a bean and rice burrito bowl. And then also these taco beans, which I made with the other half of the bag, we are going to use for bean and potato tacos for lunches. So not only do we have a traditional beans and rice, but we also have potato and bean tacos to use up all of the beans that we ended up with. Everything was so good. My kids were like, these are the best tasting beans I've ever had in my life, so you've got to try them. Lunch for the next couple of days is going to be chili topped baked potatoes, and I'm cooking them in my Instant Pot just because it's easy. Technically, it's not an Instant Pot. So I have 8 potatoes in here, about 2 cups of water in the bottom. Mine actually has a potato button, so we're just going to do that. It's, I know you can't see it very well through the camera. It's not doing that in real life, but it's 25 minutes at normal pressure, and we're going to let that run. This meal is so easy to make, you guys. Basically, we're doing roasted potatoes with browned up chorizo, mix them together and put it in some tortillas, a little bit of sour cream on top, and you have tacos. I have made this before in videos. My kids and husband love it when I make this. They always say it's super, super delicious. And because this chorizo is such a strong flavor, I really feel like it can stretch for 2 full meals. So I'm gonna roast these in my air fryer and this in a skillet on the stove. But you can also roast your potatoes in the oven, or you can saute them in a pan if that's what you prefer. Like I said, you totally don't have to use an air fryer to make this work. Do it in the oven. Look, I broke the handle of my Casserole air fryer. I dropped it. Oops. It's just oil, salt, and pepper on these potatoes. This smells so amazing. Even if you are not on a budget, you should make it anyway. Because, I mean, chorizo, potatoes, tacos, can't go wrong, guys. Welcome to my very non-fancy crock pot. This is your standard 1998 special at Walmart. All it does is low, high, and warm. I got it several years ago, probably on a Black Friday deal, but it does the job. Today we are making potato cheese soup in the crock pot. And sometimes when I do these challenges, people think that like the meals are gross or my kids won't eat them or like, where did I come up with this? And I always try and include some recipes that I ate growing up. The chicken and rice casserole I made in my first video is one of those. I think it was my last video, I made the chicken rice soup. That was one I ate all the time, and this one is one of those as well. I am doubling this in hopes that we can have this for 2 to 3 meals. We'll see how it goes. But I have 12 cups of diced potatoes right here, and just enough water to cover this, about 5 to 6 cups, like right there. That's about 5.5 or so. I have 2 of my large chicken bouillon cubes, which is the equivalent of 4 servings or 4 cups of water. Those are gonna go in. Now, when I say I ate this all the time as a kid, I mean all the time. I call this my mom's potato cheese soup. It was one of my favorites, and she would make a double or triple batch, and I would eat the leftovers like for lunch and dinner, and then lunch and then dinner all the time. Now, if you have an onion laying around, chop up an onion and put that in as well. That's part of the original recipe, and I think I forgot that when I was picking up ingredients, so I don't have the onion today. The onion really takes the flavor up a notch, so I would recommend that. I have about 1/2 teaspoon of pepper. My mom is a huge lover of pepper, so all of our food was peppered quite heavily. And then even then she'd add more at the table, and make sure all the potatoes are like just barely covered, okay? You can put this on high for 4 to 5 hours or low for 9 to 11 hours. I'm gonna put it on high just to get it going quicker. When we come back, we will end up using our evaporated milk and sliced cheese. Thanks to the magic of television, it's been several hours. So let's take, a look at our potato soup. Now that the potatoes are soft and cooked, and we can check that with a fork just to be sure. Yep, they're falling apart. That's what we want. Our 2 cans of evaporated milk that we bought, 20 slices of American cheese. This will take a while to melt. Add these in. It will cook for another 30 to 40 minutes or so, and then add more pepper if you think it needs it. Get your church key out. Do you guys have another name for this? I didn't know what it was called. I just was like, it's the milk opener canner thing. Dave said it's a church key. What do you guys think? What do you call this? I like the magnet side because we can like just stick it on the fridge and we never lose it. Here comes the milk. Okay, can number 2. Now remember, I grew up eating this, so if you're gonna say any mean comments, you're insulting my mom too. And this part like takes a while because you have to open all of these. So if you've got kids that are, you know, hanging around, maybe just tell them to wash your hands, have them come and help you. So this is the way I always did it. You just make a layer across the top and stir it down. So I'll show you what I mean. I know this sounds so weird. Okay, I know it probably looks weird, honestly. Some of the meals I make for these extreme grocery challenges, I realize look weird, but they're legit meals that I had. So sometimes I don't just make crap up. I like take a nod to my youth, you know what I'm saying? Now we'll kind of mush it to the bottom like that. Like, well, it didn't go very well because I'm using a fork and not a spoon. And now we'll add another layer. So just keep doing this until all of your cheese is in here. So now I'm just pushing this to the bottom. Interesting story about this soup. So I told you that was like a big comfort food item for me when I was growing up, my whole growing up time. So when I was pregnant with Haley and Andrew, and I was super, super nauseous, this soup and rolls really, really settled my stomach, like the heavy starch and the creaminess of it. So I would eat, this is like all I would eat. Is like potato. I wouldn't eat any breakfast except maybe a roll. Then for lunch I'd eat potato soup, and for dinner I'd eat potato soup. If you guys are interested in a smiley spoon, hopefully Amazon has them in stock, but I'll link it down below. Lid on, another 30 minutes, and I'll see you then. This is the completed soup. And if you would like it a touch thicker than this, although you can kind of see how it's thickened up with the cheese melted, get your potato masher and like kind of mash these. So some of it's mashed potatoes and it'll thicken it nicely. I don't feel like I need to do that today. You are ready to serve if you happen to make some homemade bread. Using my homemade no knead artisan bread, I'll leave that recipe down below for you. Super, super cheap and delicious. That would go great with this. If you have some spare bacon hanging around, you throw that on top. If you have some chives, growing green onions in your garden, throw that on top. But this is ready to go. One of my absolute favorites. I hope you try it and I hope you like it as much as I do. For my last 2 meals, we are going to do potato casserole, or as more commonly known in my area, funeral potatoes. Typically you would do these with shredded hash browns. I usually buy the frozen bag. I don't have frozen hash browns and I wanted to chop them into squares instead because I like to be crazy like that. Over here I have a half a stick of my melted margarine, 1 can of cream of chicken soup, and about 1.5 cups of sour cream. Now this is really thick to me, so you can add some water to thin it out. Let's dump this into here, add some salt and pepper, and stir it all around. Here it is all mixed up and stirred around, and I actually did have a couple slices of my sliced cheese left, so I mixed that in as well. This is gonna go into a 350-degree oven for 30 minutes. If you have some cheese or breadcrumbs or something around your house to sprinkle across the top for an additional 10 at the end, it will make it that much better. Now, the best way to finish off this meal is to have some sliced fried ham on the side, or put some like ham or bacon in the dish to make it a complete meal. We don't have that this time, so this is gonna be all we do. Now, I do have enough ingredients to make this whole 9x13 pan one more time for tomorrow, which is what I am planning on doing. Here's our potato casserole. It actually tastes really, really good. And like I said, some breadcrumbs and some cheese on top, and back in for another 10 minutes or so. So delicious. That's dinner for the last 2 nights, and that I think concludes our video. And I picked out a couple of videos over here for you guys to look at if you want to check out some other of the extreme grocery budget challenges I've done. Click over here if you want to subscribe. Thanks for coming, and I'll see you in the next video.